Why you push people away when they get close. You finally have what you wanted. Someone who listens. Someone who stays. Someone who looks at you and actually seems to see you. Visual person walking alone at night. But instead of feeling safe, you feel a strange rising heat in your chest. A sudden, inexplicable urge to find a flaw in them. Or perhaps a sudden need to go quiet. To disappear for a few days. You find yourself picking a fight over a dish left in the sink. Or you stop answering their texts even though you were just smiling at your phone an hour ago. You tell yourself you just need space. But if you're honest, it's not space you're looking for. It's an exit. Why is it that the closer someone gets, the more they feel like a threat? Why does intimacy feel less like a hug and more like a cage? Visual abstract brain animation. The answer isn't that you're heartless. It's that your brain is performing a very specific, very ancient survival calculation. And until you understand the mechanics of that calculation, you will continue to be a stranger to the people who love you most. Problem deep dive. This pattern has a name, but more importantly, it has a feeling. It feels like a shutter coming down behind your eyes. Visual slow moving light patterns. One moment you are present. The next you are observing the relationship from a high cold tower. You start to perform auto-critiques. You notice the way they chew. The way they laugh too loudly. The way they seem too needy because they asked how your day was. These aren't just annoyances. In your mind, they become evidence. Evidence that this won't work. Evidence that you need to protect yourself before the inevitable happens. This affects every corner of your identity. You pride yourself on being the independent one. The one who doesn't need anyone. The one who is low maintenance. But this independence is often a curated loneliness. In your relationships, it creates a cycle of push and pull. Before we look at the brain chemistry, I want you to hear this. You are not broken. You are not cold. And you are certainly not incapable of love. Visual. Empty room with sunlight. What you are is highly adapted. Pushing people away is a brilliant, logical solution to a problem your younger self once faced. Perhaps once, being seen meant being controlled. Perhaps being close meant being overwhelmed by someone else's emotions. Or perhaps, every time you reached out, the hand you expected to hold you wasn't there. Your brain learned a rule. Closeness equals danger. And so, it developed a defense system. When you push people away, you aren't being mean. You are surviving. Your brain is simply trying to keep you safe from a pain it remembers all too well. It is an adaptation that was once necessary, but has now become a psychological mechanism. To understand why this happens, we have to look at the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex. Think of your mind as a high-security vault. In the center of this vault is your true self, your vulnerabilities, your fears, your genuine needs. Visual. Notebook with one sentence written. For most people, a relationship is a process of slowly giving someone the combination to the vault. But for you, the vault has a proximity sensor. This is governed by a mental model called attachment theory, specifically avoidant attachment. When someone gets too close, they trip the sensor. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, interprets emotional intimacy as a predatory threat. It doesn't see a partner. It sees an intruder. This triggers a sympathetic nervous system response. Fight, flight, or freeze. But because you can't literally run away from a dinner date, your brain uses deactivating strategies. These are cognitive tools used to kill the feeling of closeness. They include focusing on minor flaws, daydreaming about an ideal partner who doesn't exist, pulling away when things are going well. The metaphor here is the invisible elastic band. You can walk a certain distance toward someone, but as the band stretches, the tension becomes unbearable. Eventually, you have to snap back to your starting position just to breathe. It's not that you don't want to be close. It's that your nervous system literally feels like it's suffocating under the weight of someone's practical framework. Breaking this cycle isn't about trying harder to be loving. It's about retraining your nervous system to tolerate the threat of connection. Step 1. Identify the deactivating thought. When you suddenly feel the urge to pull away, stop. Label the thought. I am currently looking for flaws because I feel vulnerable. Why it works? This uses cognitive reappraisal. By labeling the thought, you move the activity from the emotional amygdala to the rational prefrontal cortex. You move from being the feeling to observing the feeling. Example. You're at dinner and suddenly feel annoyed by your partner's voice. Instead of leaning into the annoyance, you realize, we just had a deep conversation 10 minutes ago. My brain is trying to distance me because that conversation felt too much. Visual. Waves moving slowly. Step 2. The 5-minute vulnerability window. When you feel the urge to withdraw or go ghost, commit to staying 5 minutes longer than is comfortable. Don't say anything profound. Just stay in the room. Why it works? This is a form of exposure therapy. You are teaching your brain that staying does not lead to the catastrophe. Example. You feel the need to leave a party or end a phone call because it's getting too personal. Stay for 5 more minutes. Just 5. Notice that the world didn't end. Step 3. Signal the withdrawal. If you must pull away, and sometimes you will, do not just disappear. Use a safety script. Say, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed and need some quiet time to recharge. It's not about you, and I will be back. Why it works? This prevents the anxious avoidant trap. When you disappear without a word, it makes the other person chase you, which makes you feel even more crowded. Signaling your exit reduces their anxiety and, ironically, gives you the actual space you need. Example. Instead of ignoring a text for 3 days, you send, "Hey, I'm in my head a bit today. I need some solo time, but I'll check in tomorrow." Step 4. Audit your independence narrative. Ask yourself, is my independence a choice, or is it a phobia? Examine the mental model of hyperindependence. Why it works? In psychology, hyperindependence is often a trauma response. Recognizing that you aren't stronger for being alone, but rather guarded, changes the goal from protecting yourself to connecting with others. Example. When you refuse help with a simple task, ask, am I refusing help because I can do it, or because I'm afraid of being indebted to someone? Integration. If you remember nothing else, remember the castle and the bridge. For a long time, you have been building a castle. The walls are high, the moat is deep, and inside you are safe. But a castle without a bridge is just a prison with a better view. The goal of your life isn't to tear down the walls. You need your boundaries. You need your sense of self. The goal is to build a functional drawbridge. A bridge that you can lower when you choose and raise when you need rest. Right now, your drawbridge is rusted shut. Every time you try to open it, the gears S. But with every small moment of staying, every time you choose to name your fear instead of acting on it, you are oiling those gears. Eventually, the bridge will move without effort. You will be able to let people in without losing the castle. Quiet, empowering close. The irony of pushing people away is that we do it to avoid being rejected. We reject them first so they can't do it to us. We choose the clean pain of loneliness over the messy pain of a possible ending. But you are older now. You are no longer that person who was overwhelmed or abandoned. You have the tools to survive a messy ending, which means you finally have the strength to try a messy beginning. Visual. Person walking alone at night. The next time you feel that urge to run, the next time you feel that shudder coming down, just wait, breathe, and realize that the person across from you isn't an intruder. They are just another soul trying to find the bridge. You don't have to let everyone in, but you owe it to yourself to let someone in. Stay in the room, even if it's just for 5 minutes more.